the next one, and that is Joseph. Joseph. Let's look at the representation, the meaning of Joseph. All right, let's look at Joseph. Come along with me, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at Joseph. All right, so let's look at Joseph. Sorry, I got the spelling wrong. Joseph. All right, Joseph is not the father. Joseph is not the father. Okay, Joseph is not the father. It says that because the ego does not create Christ. The ego doesn't create Christ. So Joseph represents logic. Wow. It represents logic. It represents reasoning. One, logic. Two, reasoning. That's what it represents. It represents intellect. It represents social identity. Wow. Social identity. So Joseph is not the father. Joseph can't be the father because it is flesh. Flesh, what it represents, logic. You're seeing from the outside. You're seeing using your senses, your five senses, your reasoning, your ability to think from the outside. You're looking at the things outside of you and making decisions. You're looking at things outside of you and bringing about things becoming life. Okay, so Joseph can never be the father of Christ because the representation of Christ is spirit, not flesh. All right, so Joseph represents logic, reasoning, intellect, social identity. Joseph does not generate Christ. It's not possible. Flesh cannot generate spirit. All right, spirit can generate spirit. Flesh generates flesh. Joseph does not generate Christ. So because Christ is not born from human effort, logic, or religious striving, because Christ is not born from human effort, logic, or religious striving, that's why Joseph must step aside. All right, that is why Joseph must step aside. Christ is born when the mind stops trying. Wow, Christ is born when the mind stops trying. You remember there's a place in the Bible where the Bible talked about Peter, Simon, as at that time before he became Peter, toiled all day and all night and caught nothing. You know, because he was looking at logic, he was looking at intellect, reasoning, the things outside, what you think you can do from the outside, and he caught nothing. So that one we're gonna talk about it in some other at some other time, where I will also discuss about Christ. Peter, Simon, you know, turns to Peter and all that. They are all esoteric meanings. They are all esoteric. It's amazing how you begin to see that some of these surface level teachings have deeper meanings than what we're taught in the four walls. Okay, so because Christ is not born from human effort, logic, or religious striving, that's why Joseph must step aside. Christ is born when the mind stops trying. The ego relinquishes control. Consciousness yields to divine awareness. Consciousness yields to divine awareness.